What up, Dokkaners? We received a data download last night on global, 280 megabytes worth of data. So in this video, we're going to be unpacking all of that data and talking about the content that's going to be rolling out here for this final celebration before the 8-year anniversary. We're going to talk about what's missing in the data download because there are some very glaring omissions. We're going to talk about the banner's time, when the banner's going to be dropping for the Super Boo. Hint, it's going to be dropping tonight. And one very important thing that I want to discuss regarding something that I've talked about in the past regarding rapid growth badges, or not even rapid growth, I think it's just called growth badges. Growth badges, free dragon stones. There is some confusion, and I'm here to clarify and answer any questions. Hopefully this clears things up. So make sure you guys don't miss any part of this video because there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. But before we jump in, I would just like to say, guys, thank you so much for all of the support recently. We've almost hit 66,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 70,000 before the 8-year anniversary begins, which means in the next 18 days. Could it possibly happen? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But if you guys are interested in seeing more 8-year anniversary content, I have been doing the ongoing preview series for the 8-year anniversary, and of course summons, gameplay, live streams and whatnot. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that notification bell. I will be going live tonight for the banner, which, by the way, spoiler alert, is going to be dropping at 11:30 p.m. PDT, June 19th. 6.5 hours after reset. Woo, that's a nice segue. Let's jump in and talk about Super Boo. So this is going to be dropping 6.5 hours. So wherever you are around the world, whatever time reset is for you, just add 6.5 hours to it. So if you're in a place where 3 a.m. is your reset time, that means the banner will be dropping at 9:30 a.m. for you. So very, very easy to sort that out. Didn't want to do the whole like world clock thing again. That gets very confusing for some people. But now let's talk about the data download right here. Shout out to my boy Proton for all things data download information. Follow him on Twitter at Proton10mg. Okay, thank you. So we got the promo movie. We got the AGL LR Super Boo. We've got tickets, global tickets. Obviously, there are going to be global tickets. Peton battle, chain battle versus Gotenks. I will do a video for that. As long as it doesn't drop at the same time as the Super Boo banner. Super Boo banner is dropping at 11:30 tonight. So if we do get chain battle, it probably would be like an hour after that, but we will find out. I will obviously be posting the campaign details later on today. So look out for that. Anyway, back to this here. We got chain battle. We got burst mode for Super Saiyan 3 Dokkan event. I will obviously do a video for that as well. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. DB story against the Ginyu Force. Once again, last minute reminder for new players. If you have not ever done the original version of this story event, if it's still available anyway, try to go find it. Try to go see if you can run through those stages to get those last few stones for free, because those will be gone forever. When this gets revamped into the Dragon Ball story event, you will no longer be able to access the original form. It is gone. So try to do that if it's still possible. And here we go. Let's start by talking about this Genius Bulma battle prep. So this, for most of you, you should know by now, this is the harbinger of death. The Genius Bulma battle prep basically means that a world tournament is soon to follow. Did it actually show up during the campaign details here? I don't think I actually saw it. But basically, the Genius Bulma Battle Prep is something that takes place 3 to 4 days before a World Tournament event kicks off. As you all know, JP infamously had a World Tournament happen smack dab in the middle of their beloved anniversary. So is Global fated to receive the same fate? Looks like the answer is no, because this is listed in the data download now. So what I think is going to be happening is that we're going to be receiving the World Tournament in maybe 3-4 days, possibly next week, for this celebration as opposed to during 8-year. Now, once again, if you don't know, the reason why this happened to JP was because JP, right before the 8-year anniversary, they had a fan meetup event, and it just so happened that it occupied the same weekend as the World Tournament. So as a result, the World Tournament got pushed back by a couple of weeks, and then they had to resolve it within the 8-year anniversary. Global, based on timing, should be actually doing the same thing, because we had our last World Tournament in April 20th to be exact. So if we had a World Tournament then, after 3 months, it would be July 20th, because it's usually a 3-month gap between World Tournaments. But the fact that we could be getting it early is definitely a blessing. I do not want to have to deal with this nonsense during the 8-year anniversary. That would be horrible for me as a content creator. So I will talk a little bit more about that. But everything else here, I think this all should be happening during this first week. The Super Boo celebration is actually a 2-week affair, right? A little over 2 weeks. So let me actually just show you guys. This is pretty much the block that we've got now between now and the 8-year anniversary. The 6th or 7th is when the celebration will be starting for 8-year. So these last 2 weeks are basically Super Boo and change. But you also have to remember that during the 8-year anniversary, that is part 1 that we start on July 7th or July 6th or whatever, which means we have to have a countdown portion. You guys might remember that. from the preview, the campaign review videos that I dropped earlier this week or last week, we have to have a countdown week, 1 full week, 7 days before the celebration begins. So where better than the week right before the celebration actually starts? Which is why during this celebration, we are going to have some overlap. So for 7 days, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So presumably for these 7 days, so starting around like 29th or 30th of June, we will then begin a countdown portion that happens at the same time as Super Boo. So presumably during that time, during that week, we might get a world tournament that might happen earlier. Either that, or we get the world tournament right here. It probably actually will end up happening right here. So what I think is going to happen is we got a data download right here. We're going to get another data download around... Let me change this. This is my first time using this, so bear with me. It might be a little slow. So I'm guessing we're probably going to get a world tournament sometime around here, because usually world tournaments take place Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if it's world tournament time, it would be this, 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 and this. So if that's going to happen, we probably would get a data download sometime back here. So this would be another data download. And then this would probably give us not only the world tournament stuff, but also the assets for the upcoming countdown portion, and then maybe more for the 8-year anniversary. So that's how I think things are going to be playing out. Along with that, we'll be getting the sub ECAs for the Gotenks and the Super Saiyan Gotenks and the Extreme Super Battle Road. So hopefully that clears things up. Basically, the bottom line, week 1 Super Boo will be the content that we already got in the data download. Week 2 will be all of the stuff that is not listed, and then also 8-year countdown stuff. So now that resolves all of that. Once again, banner will be dropping tonight, 11:30 p.m. PDT, 6.5 hours after reset. I will be dropping another video as soon as the campaign details drop. So when that video gets posted, probably around 6 hours after that will be when the banner goes live. I will be live on the channel by then. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, which is very important, unfortunately, has to do with growth badges and free stones. This is entirely on Dokkan for fumbling the bag. Some people did not follow the instructions, either because they didn't read it, because we're Dragon Ball fans, we just don't read, or they didn't watch my videos, because I've made a couple of videos talking about this exact thing. But unfortunately, the growth badge situation has become very confusing for some people. For 6 weeks, we are getting 10 growth badges per week by completing the same missions. With those 60 growth badges, it was marketed to exchange those 60 growth badges for 60 Dragon Stones. That was what we originally thought was going to happen, and we also presumed it was going to happen in one lump sum, in one singular transaction. You get 60 growth badges throughout the 6 weeks, then when you get to the 8-year anniversary itself, you exchange all 60 for 60 Dragon Stones, wham bam, thank you, right? That's what we thought. But then Dokkan was nice enough to be a bunch of idiots and confuse the heck out of people. So what they did is they elected to break this up into 3 installments. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. What the heck are these parts? These parts are basically inventory listings. So the items that they show you in the Baba Shop will get reset after Part 1 ends and Part 2 begins, and then after Part 2 ends and Part 3 begins. I am posting this video on the 19th of June, which means we are not even out of Part 1. But the thing is, we have been earning growth badges throughout. So if you are just pursuing Dragon Stones, you only spent 20 growth badges so far, but we are in our 5th week of growth badge missions, which means I have 30 of these growth badges left over. So if I'm just, randomly playing Dokkan, not really thinking about it, and I see that I have a bunch of this currency in my shop and a bunch of Kais or tickets, I would want to just buy them, right? Because it seems like that's the way to go. That's normally what we would do with excess currency of any type. Like if you've got a bunch of Kachin medals, after you buy the Kais in here, what else are you going to buy? Zenny? You're going to buy training items? You might want to buy other things that could help you out. Why wouldn't you? Right? So some people, unfortunately, they spent more growth badges after the first 20 and they bought these Kais or they bought these tickets. These tickets they're hard-coded to the Super 17 banner. And now they're faced with the reality that they will not be getting those growth badges back, and they will not be able to obtain all 60 Dragon Stones that are going to be dropping. As you can see, only 2 items are listed here. That's because I spent my 20 growth badges on the 20 Dragon Stones that were in here. That's why it's gone, and there's a gap. On the 20th, when Part 2 begins, when the inventory gets reset, it will refresh the Dragon Stone portion of the inventory, and I can buy my next 20 Dragon Stones starting on the 20th at reset, which means when I do, I will have 10 growth badges left over to then wait and hold on to for the next part. Why would they do that? It is so unnecessarily confusing. They could have just had us not buy anything and have us pick up all of the growth badges throughout each week and then redeem it all in one lump sum during the countdown portion or something. But they instead made it this way. So if you missed out, if you guys spent some of your badges on these things, I apologize. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This is Dokkan's fault for being confusing. They could have very much made this a much easier thing, but they elected to make it confusing. So I wish you guys saw my video. I wish you guys maybe read what they talked about in the instructions, but you can't get them back. You're not gonna be able to get them back. So my advice, save whatever growth badges you have. Whenever you see dragon stones in the shop, buy it then. I will also make a video announcing that it's back. I will also notify on Twitter, so make sure you guys are, you know, in touch with me so you guys are notified when this actually resets. And just get whatever you can. You know, if you spent all 30 of your growth badges that you got now, that means you have either some Kais or some tickets left over. Don't buy the rest, forget those. Just get dragon stones with the rest of it. That's of course if you want stones. If you don't want stones, well then it doesn't matter. But I would strongly suggest to get stones, because Kais, we can farm Kais. We talked about it in the free-to-play video. Tickets, it's for the Super 17 banner. Let's relax a little bit, okay? Stones are better. So there you go. That is the full clarification on that, and that is the full breakdown on the data download stuff. Hopefully you guys are ready and pumped for the content, not so much the banner, because the goal here is to pick up all of the stones that you can from all these different events. You're gonna be getting a lot of it. This, just from what they list here, we're getting what is this, 20? We're gonna know 18 plus 9, 27, 47. Peton gives you 11, so that's 58. And then World Tournament would give you another 50. That's 108. Sub EZAs don't give you anything, and then 8 for ESPR, so 116. So potentially over 100 Dragonstones could be coming up over the next 2 weeks. That is big. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments if you are one of those unfortunate Dokkanners who spent some of those growth badges on things that were not Dragonstones. Did you do so deliberately? Did you know what you were doing? Or did you do it because you thought that you'd be getting more? What are your thoughts on the Super Boo banner? Are you excited for it? Are you excited for any of the content coming up? When do you think World Tournament will be dropping for Global? This week, next week, or during the anniversary? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know when I see more of my stuff. Thanks again. Stay tuned. I will see you tonight. And always remember to Dokkan responsibly.